So this week we are covering three different chapters, and you'll notice that only the first one has a lab assignment. The other two do not. They just have textbook assignments. So for chapter 14, which is basically coding scripts, you're going to want to read the chapter in the book, go through the lecture demo, and then you're going to work through the textbook assignment. And this gets into more of the programming in SQL. Okay, you're going to be creating variables, which are scalar variables. And then you're also going to be creating table variables. And you're going to learn how to create temporary tables and global temporary tables. You'll learn how to create if statements and while statements. And then you're also going to learn how to incorporate try catch. So there is quite a bit in here. For the first task, scenarios 1 through 3 are in the first video. Scenario 4 is in the second. And then for task 2, 3, and 4, all of the little exercises are within the single videos. Once you complete that, you're going to want to move on to the lab assignment, where you're going to practice what you learned. So for variables, you just have to create a query that uses a scalar variable. Then you're going to have to create a query that uses a table variable. And I would just do things that are simple. Okay? You're just showing me that you understand how to create these variables. Same goes with the tables. You're going to create a query that creates and uses a temporary table, and then you're going to do one that creates and uses a global temporary table. And if you wanted to do the same query for both, you could. Okay? It's just the way that you create a local temporary table is a little different than a global one. Then for the if statements, I've actually made this easier. You only have to do a query, one query that uses an if statement. Okay, so you can basically check to see if an object exists. And there's a lot of examples of that. You have to create a query that uses a while statement with a row cursor. And then you have to incorporate try catch into a query. And this one is going to need a temporary table that adds 2 records to a table. So a good thing to refer back to is the textbook assignment. Task number 4 does something similar. And so you'll do something similar with a different table. Okay, so that is the assignment. Once you finish the assignment, you can work on the quiz, open book, open note, no time limit. So I do encourage you to look things up. You can look in the book, you can look in the lecture demo, you can look in your textbook assignment or lab assignment for answers. Then for chapter 16, this is a fairly short chapter. It's basically giving you an idea of how to manage transactions. And transaction processing is built into SSMS and SQL Server. It's done automatically, but there are ways to tweak it and make it work a little better. So you will read the chapter in the book, and you will then look through the lecture demo, which is fairly short. And the assignment is also pretty short. There's just a couple little exercises here that just are designed to give you an idea of how transaction processing works. And most of them are incorporating try catch. You don't have to use try catch, so the second scenario doesn't use it. Okay, and neither does the third one. But most often, you will see something like the first scenario. Okay, so it just gives you a little practice using transactions. And then chapter 17 is database security. And there's a lot of concepts in here that are included in the MTA exam. So make sure you read through the book, and the lecture demo is designed to explain things a little more thoroughly. And then to help you understand even more, we have a textbook assignment where you're going to be basically authenticating some users. You're going to be giving them permissions. And so this is where you're really going to get a better idea of, what granting permission or revoking permission involves. You'll also be creating your own schema, and you will be moving tables into a schema. So you're going to learn more about that as well. So that is what you need to complete. There is an optional extra credit this week on the last unit test. And after you complete all this, if there is something that you still are fuzzy on, I did include links to YouTube videos. There's videos on variables and if statements, pretty much everything that we have covered. I've got downloads here for slideshows from the textbook publisher and solutions to the chapter problems that are in the book. If you have questions or you run into problems, please let me know. Just send me an email. I am here to help.